Peace, family, peace. So, like I stated, we're going to go over the bankruptcy blueprint that I've gone ahead and put together for you guys. Real simple, step by step, 3-step process on how to delete any bankruptcy from your consumer report. So, a lot of people, suffer from bankruptcies, not knowing that it's illegal. And I mean, just off top, as we've been going through the FCRA, and as you guys go through the definitions, just within congressional findings within itself, the invasion upon privacy. That's one of the ones that we're going to bring up in a second. I'm going to show you guys, as well too. But as we've been going through the FCRA is going to be your best friend when it comes to bankruptcies, deletion within the getting them off your consumer report. So we're going to dive right into it. So let's get straight into it. It doesn't matter whether you filed a chapter 7, 11, or 13. This method I'm about to go over is going to work for either one of those. And me personally, I've never filed a bankruptcy, but a lot of my students have. A couple of people within the mentorship have, and we're going through getting them deleted. I've already helped 2 people get bankruptcies deleted, and they've used this method, and I'm about to show you. So I advise that you not just copy, what I show you, but also go through and study for yourself. Do your own due diligence, and go look up what I'm saying. I don't ever want you guys to believe anything that I'm really telling you guys. I want you guys to go, study for self. If something I say, if a word I say, doesn't really make sense, go look up the wording, go look up the definition of the word within the Black's Law that everybody has within the mentorship as well too, which will be provided within the university as well too, a PDF and everything. It's mandatory that by the time we got the university, everybody has a hard copy of the Black's Law Dictionary. We want to know wording when we're talking law. The main consumer reporting agencies that most of us know about are the big 3: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Right? There's actually over 360 consumer reporting agencies. Right? And who remembers? I want y'all to drop in the chat the definition of a consumer reporting agency, other than Jesse. I want to see who's been studying, who's been going through the definitions within the FCRA, which is 2 calls ago what we went over. 15 USC 1681A. Who's been going through the definitions? There's the definitions within each subchapter. So we got to know the definition specifically for the subchapter that we're talking about. Anybody? If not, y'all got to go back, watch recording, go through study, do y'all due diligence, right? This is bigger than, deleting anything off our consumer report. This is knowing who you are, right? It's knowing how to operate, on a day-to-day basis within this corporation that we live in. Not being taken advantage of by these financial institutions, by these, debt collectors, these consumer reporting agencies. We hold all the power, but we got to go do the due diligence and study for ourselves so that we know, who we are. We know the definitions. We know the wording, right? Although these 3 are the main 3, right? We're not going to start here. We're actually going to start with another consumer reporting agency, getting it removed from there. And I'm going to go over why and on this next one. So step 1, this is exactly where we're going to start. We're not going to start with the main 3. We're going to start with LexisNexis. And the reason why is because LexisNexis, which is a consumer reporting agency just like Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, they use a database called PACER to fish out negative information on consumers. And what they do with that information is they sell it to the other consumer reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So they're selling our information. What a way, red alert, does it sound like? Who remembers in the exclusions within the definitions? What must be excluded from our consumer report? So they're not even supposed to have anything reported on our consumer report. But even before that, like I stated, 15 USC 1681A, number 4, this is in congressional findings. Notice that Congress makes it clear that a consumer has a right to privacy. They never define what privacy is because you as a consumer are the only one who can define what privacy is to you. Right? So what LexisNexis does, they go out and they fish your information, all negative information, and that's an infringement upon your privacy. Who gave them the right to fish out my information? Nobody. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit LexisNexis with, we're gonna cease and desist letter, letting them know to stop all communication as well. That they've broken in pursuant to 15 USC. Anytime we're bringing up law in any letters, anything, we're always gonna talk. We're always gonna cite it with in pursuant to 15 USC 681. And if we pull that one up, I'm gonna show you guys. Y'all see, all we do is study. 15 USC 1681. Right, congressional findings. All right away, it lets us know the banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. What is this letting me know? The banking system is dependent upon credit. It's dependent upon us. All right, once we know what credit is, we understand that, once again, is dependent upon us. Once we understand the wording within fair and accurate, we understand exactly what I mean by the banking system is dependent upon credit. Then it mentions number 4, there is a need to ensure that consumer reporting agencies exercise their grave. So this is their grave responsibility, right? Think of, graves, we're talking about death now. So we can, now we're talking life or death. By them must exercise in their grave responsibility with fairness, right? Remember on our call with the definitions, the definition of fairness, impartial, I always mess that word up, so I'm not even gonna say it, but I know y'all know what I mean. And in respect to the consumer's right to privacy, right? Once again, we define what's private to us and what's not private to us, period. So let's get back to it. This is just one of them. Oh, y'all can even see that, huh? Boom. Let me show y'all real quick. So right here, the banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. Then it lets us know on number 4, there is a need to ensure that the consumer reporting agencies exercise their grave responsibility with fairness, impartiality, and a respect for the consumer's right to privacy. All right, we know what privacy is. I don't know where it just went. Okay, here we go. So step 2 now. Does step 1 make sense to everybody? Let me pause this real quick. So step 2, we're gonna get right into it. LexisNexis did not have a permissible purpose, nor did they have your written instruction. So what's next? Who remembers going through the FCRA right away? This law right here. If so, type it in the chat. You can now drop the letter or an affidavit. I'm going to drop a copy of an affidavit, the outline, so that everybody has it within the mentorship, and this is going to be within the university as well too. I believe I've dropped one, but I'll re-drop it again tonight. Or an affidavit stating these violations, and be specific about how LexisNexis violated these specific subsections. Once your letter or affidavit is done, you mail it off to LexisNexis certified with the green return receipt. Right, so this is important. This right here, if needed, that if they say, once it is deleted or they can't find it, any of your information, we never received, a complaint. I got my certified green, return receipt right here. I know that you guys have received it. Right. Also, what you want to add with that letter is to send back. It's another green little letter as well too. And it'll send it back to the original that address, so that you can have that sent back. So once they do receive it, they received it. It's certified. You literally got the tracking number and everything. You track that they received it. Now you want to also add the send back to address. It's another green one as well too. They're right next to each other in the post office. They're completely free. Everybody, I want you guys to go grab a stack, so that you guys have these while we go, send off our inquiry deletion, right? So that We know that these companies have received it, right? Will it get removed? Maybe, maybe not. But most likely they will respond and they will say they verified it, which is exactly what we want. We want them to say that they verified it because we know, we are the only true original creditors. Therefore we're the only ones who can validate a debt, and we'll get into that once we get into the FDCPA. They will claim and that they verified it with the bankruptcy courts, which will bring us to the next steps. Well, even just staying within the FCRA, them claiming that right there, we can hit them with violations. And remember as well too, for each violation within each subchapter, that's $1,000, right? So first one, the violation so far is 15 USC 1681A, number 4, infringement upon a consumer's right to privacy. And then the next one is 15 USC 1681B, A, number 2, no permissible purpose and no written instruction. They must have written instruction and they must have our permission. All right, so the step 2 makes sense. Step 3, last step right here, really simple. So we already got 2 violations right there. Now we're gonna get into the third one. So since LexisNexis claimed that they verified it with the bankruptcy courts, we're now going to trap them in 2 ways. We're going to write a letter to the bankruptcy court, right, with your docket number, and we're simply going to ask them if they furnished your bankruptcy to any consumer reporting agency. They're going to respond letting you know that they did not, because bankruptcy courts do not furnish anything to consumer reporting agencies because they know it is fraud. Remember, a consumer reporting agency can be Trent. If Trent wants to go open up a consumer reporting agency tomorrow, Trent could, on the behalf, be a consumer reporting agency. All right, so we got to know the definition. Once again, now the next one, 15 USC 1681A, number E, in the definitions, an investigative consumer report. So since they said that they validated, that means that they went through and they investigated it. They re-investigated it, because anything that's furnished on a consumer report was already investigated. So now they're re-investigating it. But this is what's supposed to have happened. That's why they're supposed to get a written consent. That's why, permissible purpose, they're supposed to go through all of those things. And since they claim they investigated it and verified it, you now need to ask who they spoke with, because Congress says in order for them to have conducted an investigation, they have to have spoken to neighbors, friends, or associates, etc. And if they spoke with them, that information cannot be factual. It says this very clearly within, the definition of an investigative consumer report. So it's not only important to know the definition of a consumer report, but an investigative consumer report, right? So take the paper from the bankruptcy court and the letter from LexisNexis and write another letter or an affidavit to let them know that they're caught in a lie and that they're going, that they are in violation of federal law. Next, you want to let them, what you want to do next is file a complaint with your attorney general. So whatever state you're in, if you're in New Mexico, go to the New Mexico attorney general and file a complaint. You as a consumer have the right to file a complaint with your state attorney general with the paperwork that you have, and then also file another CFPB complaint. I told y'all I'm going to be doing a call going over how to do a CFPB complaint. I believe I actually did that on last call with all the paperwork attached. If not, we'll run through it. Then call LexisNexis after all of this is done. Let the associates know all of the laws that they violated and that you have them trapped. You may now be on hold for a few hours, but a few hours, people go to school for 4 years. This is our life we're talking about. We're talking about them furnishing information, and infringing upon our privacy, right? So, 4 hours, 4 days, I'm going to be on that phone. It wouldn't be 4 days, but sometimes they will not say they cannot remove information over the phone, but this is false. What I always do, since you clearly can't help me and you don't know the federal laws that you guys are breaking, let me speak to your supervisor. I always go high up to the highest up. Because once again, you got to think about it. If you call Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, oftentimes you're going to hear somebody from India answering the phone call. So they're using a foreigner talking about our life when, these laws are put in place to protect us against foreigners, against, these foreign companies, these financial institutions, right? So that's just highly disrespectful within itself. They're not even, giving us people that know federal law. So once again, you guys may be on hold for a while as well too. You guys they remember as well to their, regular people. So they probably don't even know the law that they're breaking. I mean, think about in the dealership, in the, phone store, all of the laws that they're breaking within truth and lending. And, the average person, manager, doesn't even know these laws. So the bankruptcy then will be removed from LexisNexis. Once it's removed from LexisNexis, then you repeat the exact same process with TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So from there, it's going to be removed. But we got to get it removed first from LexisNexis, right? We got to get, LexisNexis to respond saying that they validated. Once they say that they validated it, okay, now we're going to go to the courts. We're going to ask the courts if they furnish any information with any consumer reporting agencies. The courts are going to let us know we do not furnish any information with any consumer reporting agencies. From there, now we're going to go to the CFPB, Attorney General. We can go to the BBB, and now we can file a consumer complaint against these consumer reporting agencies, and then they're going to have it removed. All right, so that right there is a bankruptcy one, the bankruptcy removal. Let me go ahead and stop this recording.